Loud. Okay, we are recording. Well, happy day. Hello, Michael. How are you today?
Terrific, Andrea. Thanks so much for having me on with you. It's really an honor. It's a privilege.
Thank you. One of the things that I appreciate in reviewing your work is the fact that you bring an energy to an interview. You accepted an invitation. You view everything as an invitation. So before we get started, I want to just fill everyone in why I was so excited to have you enter my life in the last week. And I quickly looked at your work and realized that we were kindred spirits on so many different levels. So, hey, as viewers know, I am Dr. Andrea Goeglein. And everything about my life is success oriented. What does it take to make this moment the most successful it can be? And so when I come across other beings who shine their light so bright and whose work has touched so many, I want to be able to get you into the circle of conversation so new people will know about. Today, I want to introduce someone to my friend, Dr. Michael Mantell. I'm going to read part of your bio, but I'm going to take it out of order because I'll tell you what struck me the most. Of course, I love that Dr. Michael Mantell is a behavior science coach because everything is how do we work with our behavior? How do we observe our own behavior? But what I loved was that for 45 years, you have been helping people find lasting change, contentment, and more awakened life. You know, when I just thought of that sentence, when I personally read that sentence, I was imagining what it was for you to get to do the work that you do. And it made such perfect sense to me that you bring the energy to it that you do. Everything you do has to do with helping people get out of depression and raise their emotions and reduce anxiety. But very interesting, you took your incredible education, which started at the University of Pennsylvania, and went into the fields, a diverse set of fields, not the least of which is, at this stage in life and in the last decade, you brought this expertise to fitness. So I'm going to read the more formal parts so everyone really knows, you know, who you are. You've served as the Chief Psychologist for Children's Hospital in San Diego, the San Diego Police Department Behavioral Science Consultant for the American Council on Exercise, the co-founder and Chief Science Officer of Plus Size Certified, and you're a member of the Science Advisory Council of the International Council of Active Aging. Dr. Michael Mantell has also been the assistant clinical professor in the Department of Psychiatry at UCSD Medical School. Now everyone will understand that when I so excited about you, it was because reading your bio showed me how you take your initial interest in the behavioral sciences matched with a thoroughbred of an education in that field. I mean, everyone in my community knows my respect for the University of Penn and Marty Seligman and the psychology group. You took that and over decades kept evolving it and evolving it. You never stayed where you were. Mm-hmm. And that to me is the greatest example, whether you're a young person, a middle person, an older person, that is to me the whole concept behind my Don't Die series. It's about living this moment. It is not about how old you're going to be. So welcome. I will have your complete bio in the notes of this when we get started, when we get done. But for now, I just want you to tell me of that incredible bio. What makes your heart sing the most? When you think about all you've done, what makes
my family, number one, above all, nothing comes close to that.
Cool.
The others are passion-driven, mission, to use all that lingo. But in plain simple terms, what gets me going every day is my family, my wife of 48 years.
Cool.
We met in high school. We have two sons who are in their very, very early 40s. They each have three children. So that's what lights my fire, and that's what lights me up. And
Sure.
I always, whenever I'm helping somebody, in the back of my head somewhere, sometimes it's a little more in the front, but in the back of my head is the notion that I'm doing this, and someday, if God forbid my family needs help, I hope that whoever's helping them has the same passion and commitment and compassion to help them that I'm bringing to this human being or this group of people today. It's just heartfelt.
Yeah.
I must tell you, something very funny happened recently. Someone saw my bio from my old, from elementary school, and she posted, I haven't spoken to this woman since, I don't know, whenever, in the 1950s, whatever. And she writes, "Dear Michael, I don't know if you remember me." I do. I did. She said, "But who would have imagined that you in kindergarten would ever amount to this?"
Oh, that is so great.
And I said, "I think that all the time."
I think that all the time.
But I will tell you this, that in terms of the positions I've held, working with kids and they're going to cops was a big change. I was sitting in the city council meeting in the city of San Diego in 1979. I'd been a chief psychologist at Children's Hospital for a number of years, and here I was. I created this program, and I'm presenting it to the city council, and I want them to accept it. And one of the assistant mayor, who finally became mayor, said, "Dr. Mantell," he said, "Son," call me son. I was 30,
he
31
called me
years
girl,
old.
I bet.
30, 31 years old. He said, "Son, what does a guy from back east who worked with kids know about taking care of cops?" I took my pen, put it in my pocket, started to push away, and the chief of police, who became one of my dearest friends, Bill Collender, kicked me under the table really hard on my left leg. And he said, "Sit there and answer the question." And I thought, oh gosh, what have I done? So I said, "Sir, if you're looking for somebody who's going to take care of the badge, it's not me. I'm not that person. But if you want someone who's going to take care of the person behind the badge, wearing the badge, that's me." And Chief Collins leaned over and said, "You just got the contract." And I did. So I think that's one of the more memorable things that I recall in my career transition. Something else, Andrea, you said, your books are unreal. When I got them the other day, I just lit up. My wife said, you haven't lit up like that about a book. I don't remember when. And I'm not here to push your books, but this is heartfelt. When I saw Don't Die, what immediately came to my mind was, she's right. We never, ever stop. Even those who stop us don't stop us. Yeah. And every opportunity, every change in my life has come just by keeping my eyes open with that notion. We don't die, we keep going.
Right. But you also have an acronym for DIE that you use in your work. Please share it.
DIE. First of all, DIE is part of the word diet. And for many years, I wrote my original thesis on the psychological aspects of obesity. I've always been interested in how diets fail. They just do. They're meant to fail. You lose a little weight, you need a diet again to lose some more weight because you just gained it all back. One day, it struck me that a centerpiece of a great deal, if not all, of our misery are the demands that we have for the way we are and think we should be, the way you are and the way I think you must be, and the way my life is and the way I expect it to be. DIE, demand, insist, and expect. If we can eliminate demands and insisting and expecting, we live happier.
Yes. Thank you for that. I also want to go back to something that you were saying as you explained about the work that you do and the difference between not taking the badge but taking care of what's behind it. In the self-help industry, there is a line that I love, that if the reason you do the work, the reason that you become more self-aware and you really get to know how you respond in situations so that you can manage it better, that whole work out of emotional intelligence, is that I will take care of me for you if you take care of you for me. It's like the very first level of relationship, whether you're in business, whether you're in family, whether you're with any other human beings, that if you can bring your best self in that moment. And I think that's where a lot of our work has overlapped, that we care so deeply about how the individual stands in their place. They're the experts. They're the, you know, they know, you knew that those police officers knew their work, the tasks of their work. It was everything else that may have been eating them alive.
You know where else we see that? I do a great deal of work in physician wellness over the last number of years. And especially today with what's going on with COVID, we talk about these as heroes, warriors, frontline. I don't like those words because I think we're making it into a war, battle,
correct,
a frontline. These are caring men and women.
You bet.
And they have families, they have partners, they have spouses. So one of the things, in a course I do for physician wellness, I start off by showing a picture of a little character holding a black bag. And I say, you see, what's in that black bag is not what matters. It's the heart of the person carrying the black bag that determines and influences healthcare. Yep. And today with COVID-19, my goodness, that it becomes all the more important. What can we do to lift each other?
Yep.
Well, we can't lift each other unless we're lifting ourselves. And that's why I spend so much time helping people gain and sustain unconditional self-acceptance, unconditional other acceptance, and unconditional life acceptance, not self-esteem.
Those are great.
Self-esteem is like emotional cancer. Self-esteem, it hinges on me feeling good because I did something and wow, I feel great. No, I feel good about who I am regardless of my performance. My performance is over there, but myself is over here.
Right. You know, there's a number of things that you've tried my mind. One just from last night and watching the news, which I do very, very little of. And there was a segment from where they were doing the drive-by. It was actually a whole piece on the drive-by society that we were in. Now we're driving by and taking tests. And there was a young physician, and he was talking about what it was like to be working that they're working, and how he is not having opportunity to be with his wife and young children for their own safety so that he can continue to show up at work. And is one of the most challenging things to see, because we forget what it takes for them to do their job. And if we can help showing up, managing our own anxiety in a situation that helps spots. Then there was, another part that I want to ask you, and I'm not sure if you've done, before you started out and you said that family was so important to you. Do you know your values in action, strengths, the things that came out of positive psychology?
Yeah, funny, I just was coaching someone last night who's in that Penn program about character strengths. And she said, have you done yours? I said, I did mine so many years ago when I was so many years ago. I don't remember them, but I think I think I have a zest for life. I bring a vibrancy to everything I do. And more than anything else, that's probably, and compassion. And I think that that's so important to me.
Well, there is actually a strength, which my top 5 can be loved and show up in desire for connections with other people. But then you self-identified as zest for life, which is also another one.
Right.
I wanted to speak of, because when you spoke of esteem, you have a statement, and I love quotes and statements because I think short, concise information helps us. And because we are in the period that we're in right now, I know a lot of the women that I deal with, they've been making a lot of jokes about, you know, the weight they're going and how terrible it is. And I do best not those combinations, but you have a line that connects the weight on a scale. So would you share one with us?
I will. You cut out for a moment, so I just wanted to make sure I
Okay.
heard. So the line that I think you're referring to is that, and I don't remember it exactly, but I think you're
I
referring
have
to
it
the
written
notion
down.
that the scale tells you how much you weigh, not what you are worth.
Yes,
Is that the one you're referring to?
that is the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is such an important thing to remember, because if it is too hard for you to maintain your normal health routines during this time, because you really do want a little mac and cheese and you would have in your diet, you know, reason you should be eating. Never hurt anyone when you're like, you control the mac and cheese, you can do a serving, you can't control this that's going on around us. And but there are things like that where today, knowing, think back, what is things that are most important. So you've got the very deep resume, yet the thing that's the most important is how you interact with your family and how you devoted your partnership, growing a good partnership. And I can relate to that. That was a main focus between my husband and I, was building that center of who we were and making sure that we aligned so we could build the best foundation for us. So I have a question, and it's about your new book, because again, it has a title that just remembering, I think, is a great corrector in the moment for people. So please share with everyone book title and a short synopsis for us.
Well, the title is The Link. The Link is What You Think. The Link is What You Think. My wife, Paula, gave that title to the book. She's the one who comes up with so many of the acronyms and so many great titles for things. And we partner together. We blend together. You know, we truly become one flesh. And so the book, The Link is What You Think, is a collection every day on Facebook for years. I mean, more than 5 years now. I don't miss a day. I put out something called the Mantell Daily 5 every single day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day. I have never missed.
Amazing.
In addition, so what I did, I took those and edited them into 365 for the course of a year. And the link is, and then I have a chapter or two describing where my philosophy came from, a little about myself, pictures of our family in the book. And I describe the value of being able to stop for a moment and get rid of certain concepts like, boy, she made me angry, or this gets me upset, or the noise over there is driving me crazy, because none of that is true. What is true? The link is what you think. What I tell myself about a situation, never the situation. That's the way we can achieve optimal health. I have an acronym for COVID, which is something we're all living through. And so let me share that with you, because it is an example of the link is what you think. And so the COVID, COVID. The first is C, cheerfulness. Cheerfulness carries us forward. When I smile, you smile. When you smile, I smile. So that's the C, bring cheerfulness. O, of course, you can understand, it's optimism. That's the right mindset. But I just wrote a column this morning, it's going to post later today, I think, on something called the Stockdale paradox. We can't just have right? You can't just have
Yes.
optimism. You have to balance it with reality. So cheerfulness, optimism, V, vibrate with positivity. And then I, illuminate the darkness wherever it is. And it's there. So our job is to see through
Yes.
tiny light and illuminate. And the D in COVID is discover delight in every day. Cheerfulness, optimism, vibrate with positivity, illuminate darkness, discover delight. When you take the book, the link is what you think, and every day you open to another 5 and you write down some thoughts. How am I going to apply this today? Do you appreciate how much more vibrant your life is, how much more positive, optimistic it becomes? That's the book.
And you said such a critical, read you read how you can apply them. That's the part that so many people, there's these terrible lines about how self-help books are really shelf books, and I will tell you that the difference for me between someone who makes progress in their own path, which means that they handle the ups and downs, the optimism part, in my world, I call it grounded optimism. I'm incredibly optimistic, not because I think everything is okay, but because I try and find the smallest thing that may be okay and hold on to that while the rest of the things are crashing around me. Because I gotta keep my eye on what I want. And that was one of the things that I noticed that you did. I mean, I'm very impressed with your Facebook page, and I really want people, I'm going to go to the page and keep posting, because the work you do is good. It's concise, it's applicable, and if someone would just stop long enough to read those 5 things and think, how do I put this into place in this moment? I can see the beauty in that. But what you do in that is give people enough time to pause, which cognitively is all we generally need. If we can just stop the rumination long enough, information, you don't have to read a whole book, a little information so that you can take the next step.
That's why I love your books, because it's so manageable. It's so easy. I can carry it. It's unbelievable. And it's applicable. My wife and I were reading together last night, and it's just so easy to apply. And that's one of the things I think that resonates, and why we have this magic with each other that's just terrific. And I think it's such a wonderful thing to find someone who professionally you resonate with, and you realize underneath it's really very personal. The thing is that there are people who magnify the bad and minimize the good. And what we try and help people do is the opposite.
Correct.
Magnify what's good in your life. I remember once I was taking care of a young boy who was diagnosed with autism. He was on the spectrum. And I was working with him about his thinking and positive thinking. And one day he came up to the office and he looked very glum. I said, so-and-so, you look like you're glum. Wonder what you're thinking. He says, well, nothing good happened today. I said, really? Wow, nothing? He said, nothing. I said, well, let me ask you a question, so-and-so. When you came up the stairs to my office, did they collapse? He said, no. I said, and when your mother drove you here and the light turned red and she put on the brake, the car stopped? Well, yeah. And when you got home from school before you came here, your mom make you a snack? Well, yeah, she did, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Was it good? It was great. So, but that doesn't count because she's supposed to do that. Now, do you hear the mindset?
Yep.
Can I tell you about this boy? He's
Sure.
17 years old now. He was accepted to Harvard University.
Yay! I love it. I love it.
And one of the things I told the parents way, 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 way back years ago, we're never going to use the word autism.
Yep.
But I don't care that it's a diagnosis. It's irrelevant. I'm not going to use that word. We're going to talk about the way he thinks. We're going to help him think sounds simple, but positively, with optimism, realistically, grounded optimism.
Yes.
And it's just a marvelous story of health and what that kind of thinking can do.
And, you know, again, our alignment, which we weren't, I mean, we've only been aware of each other for a number of, came upon each other, you know, all this social distancing has made those of who generally use social networking in limited, we're using a little bit more of it, came upon each other through a mutual tagging on Twitter in the last week. And I have, one of the many things that I say in my work is, do not deny reality, live your life by it. So when people are talking about bankruptcies in their businesses, or I am very, very sensitive about how we use, as you are, a diagnosis. A professional, a doc gives you a diagnosis. Yes, absolutely pay attention, listen, get other opinions, but listen to that. Do not deny that, don't deny that's happening. However, never own the diagnosis. I am autistic. I have cancer. I have been diagnosed with cancer. My son has been diagnosed, and we're doing these things to make him the most successful. It is amazing how, you know, you put that to the side and then you do everything you can in order to support what things need to be supported so that you have the best outcome.
Absolutely. So we teach with obesity and with all diseases, patient a person first, not the obese person, but the person living with obesity. Correct. We don't say, I mean, the cancer person, no, the person who has cancer. We respect the patient first. We put the person before the disease. The other thing is, what I am not my diagnosis. I am not my IQ. I am not my degree or the sweatshirt I wear. That's not who I am. That's what I've accomplished. I never, ever rate myself. My performances, oh boy, if you gave me a math test, I'd fail. I rate myself, my skills in math terribly, F. But that doesn't mean I am an F. No, two separate things.
You know, you mentioned IQ. I've always been respectful of the fact that I have a very average IQ, but I use it in an extraordinary way. And it is like, I have to do things 2 or 3 times more than my husband, my daughter could read the same things. I am in awe. I know what higher IQ looks like. I see it around me all the time, but I don't have to make myself less. It's, what do I bring? What do you bring to the work that you're doing and the devotion to help other people? And if you stay focused enough on where do I start and how I can make it better, even situations like when you're told it is best for you to stay home, are you going to complain about it and call 1,000 people to complain about it? Or do you have a process that you can start to have of, oh, what about all those things I wanted to do? So tell me, you posted an article today on Thrive Global about a word that is not my easiest word, self-efficacy. And I want to direct people to that particular article because I love when articles actually have little tests that people can take, and that one does. But chat for a moment just about that article.
Okay, so I'll tell you that self-efficacy is something that a psychologist that we both are aware of, Albert Bandura, in 1977, I believe, he wrote about this thing called self-efficacy. Very simply, and I like to write like you do in language that people can just understand. I don't need to use psychobabble. I don't like psychobabble. It doesn't impress me, and I'm very unimpressed by it. So clearly, simple, better. Self-efficacy means I believe that I have the ability to perform. I believe I have the ability to make a difference. I believe I have the ability to get through this. Self-confidence, in a sense, but a belief in my own abilities. Where does it come from? It comes from my past experience. Hey, I got through this before, I can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from watching people very similar to me. There's a guy who's 71 years old. Hey, you know what? He can do that. I'm going to give it a try. It comes from social, it comes from verbal persuasion. Come on, Michael, you got this. It comes from those sorts of things. And that self-confidence, that belief in yourself, not I'm sure I am going to accomplish, and if I do, I'll feel good about myself. I have the ability to give it my best.
Right.
That's what self-efficacy is.
So let's put a little bow on this for everyone, since we're directing them to that article. Here we are in this moment in time. Can you suggest one or two things that we can do around the situation of being told to socially distance, to stay home more, where self-efficacy can be applied, a positive way to apply it?
Absolutely. I've written an article a day on Thrive, and it's on my social media, my Facebook page. Super. So today was number 31. 31 articles every single day on getting through COVID. The one that's posted, I'm not sure when it will post, but it goes every day, various times of the day. I wrote an article on how we can craft our approach to getting through COVID. A simple way to remember it is to accept, to be able to believe, to celebrate, meaning I accept the reality. I believe I can get through this, and I can celebrate the good in every day. The word craft, by the way, here we go, an acronym. C, cancel your self-talk, your negative self-talk. Cancel your negative self-talk. R is replace it with something healthier. A, affirm your new unconditional self-acceptance. Today wasn't a good day, but that didn't define me as a bad person. A bad day doesn't mean a bad forever. It just means today was not good. Right. And F, focus on images that define success. T, train yourself for lasting positive change. Above all, you want to get through COVID, get rid of demanding it be different. Yay! Replace, I demand this be different with, I prefer it to be different. If we have a moment, I'll give you the 5 things I do. Okay. The DALPO, DALPO, not Alpo, but DALPO. Get rid of the demands and replace them with preferences. Number 2, the awfulizing. Is this awful? Or is it too bad? It's unfortunate. It's a hassle, not a horror. L, low frustration tolerance. I can't stand this. I can't bear it. I can't tolerate it. Yes, you can. Watch what happens. You'll wake up tomorrow. You'll be tolerating it again. P, personalizing. Oh my God, no one's having it as bad as me. Look at your neighbor. They're having it pretty tough too. And O, overgeneralizing. Oh my God, it always happens to me. Why? It's never going to get better. Yes, it will. It will be different. So demand, don't awfulize about it. Raise your frustration tolerance. Don't personalize and label yourself as being the blame for all this, and stop overgeneralizing. You can do that, particularly getting rid of it must be different and I can't tolerate it. It's awful. To I don't like it. I wish you were different so I can get through this. I promise you, your experience of COVID will be a whole different one.
That's beautiful. And I really do want to end there, because I'd like people to listen to this and begin to think of their own life and actually apply some of this today. So very quickly, tell everyone how they can find you on Facebook.
Michael Mantell. Look for me and you'll find my picture. I have a website called Dr. Michael Mantell. That's with 2 L's, drmichaelmantell.com. By the way, on that website, you'll see all the most recent columns on
Oh,
COVID that I put on
fabulous.
Thrive. They're all there, so you can just click away and read them.
Beautiful.
And I will tell you, by now you know I'm a very quick responder to emails.
Yes.
So this may be insane, but I put out my email address. And I invite people to say, hey, I got a question for you, Michael. My email address is very simple. Dr. Mantell, DRMANTELL @me.com. Doctor, no period, DRMANTELL @me.com. You write to me, put in the subject line, Andrea, I promise you, I will get back to you like that.
That's perfect. You know, Michael, thank you so much. There's not a greater gift that we can give to others at this time, but the work that you do and being willing to help. And that is the greatest gift we can give anyone that listened today. So I want to thank you very much. And I want you to continue to enjoy that beautiful weather that you're apparently having.
Oh, well, yeah, we're in San Diego. It's beautiful here.
Yeah. So remember,
Andrea,
the book is The Link Is What You Think. And I will have all of this written up in the notes, but get this up as quickly as possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea, for the opportunity to be with you. Good luck with all your success. Appreciate having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Where is my recording? Boom.
There we